We're back, baby.
Took us a while. We just got lazy, honestly, guys. Anyways, today's topic is how to know if your agency's bullshitting you.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
think this
allowed
is a
to
good
swear
one.
on YouTube? And
I
it's
was just gonna say, like when when you're hiring someone, you can get really good work and real bad work. And I think it's a good little exercise for you to make sure that your agency on your toes. And what is also good is this is like report card. If they're doing a good job, you'll be able to validate and say, hey, they're doing a good job. They're doing a bad job. Maybe you can reconsider who you have.
yeah. So we're just gonna run through a bunch of bullet points, share screen where we can, but there's some non-negotiables, some stuff you should watch out for, and some ways to just check if they're lying to you and not. So let's start with the first one. We're gonna clear it up. Account ownership. So I'm very annoying about this because I've had situations where have clients come to me or people come to me and like, yeah, let's move on, but then they don't have access to any of these resources, and these are like large corporate businesses that I've had to deal with, that I have to start with completely fresh accounts. So if at any point anybody comes to you and is like, yeah, we own the account or any of your assets, no.
It's the biggest red flag. Like that, it is your intellectual property. You should own your Google Ads account, your Google Analytics 4, your Google Tag Manager. All of that should be owned by you. And if it's for Meta, then you have a business manager and you just give access to people. And for Google Ads, you can give access at the MCC level, I would say.
We'll share this doc with everybody, but make sure you can log into the account. Make sure you create the account as well. Get them to walk you through the creation process. Don't let them create the account and transfer it. Create the account yourself.
Because then you can be held hostage, because they can be like, oh, and if they take your account, like that's all of your conversion data, you might have to start from fresh. Like I would say if you are ever dealing with a business that's doing something like this, like it's straight up predatory. You don't want to work with them.
Yeah, bad business. Moving on. The biggest lie detector. How do I do this again? So a lot of times people will go about and be like, oh, we did this, we made this update, we increased budget here, we updated this image and blah, blah, blah. A lot of the times they don't, just from experience. And the easiest way to just go do it is go to your left column and change history. Colby, do you want to kind of
let's do a quick little thing. And yeah, let's go. I think we're framing it like these people are always evil. It's not necessarily that they're evil, but I would say, agencies, I mean, some people are straight up evil for sure. But like what ends up happening is people get busy and, maybe they don't think you're a priority account. And, maybe you're not seeing results and it just feels like nothing's really happening. Hold on, let me get out of this account and just go into an account. Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah.
You can see it? Okay, cool. So what you can do is when you're in a Google Ads account, you want to, say you start at the main screen here and go and take a look and scroll all the way to the bottom here and you see change history. And then, within the last 30 days, you'll want to see that there's some activity going on in here. And, thankfully we can see my team has done some stuff.
Some stuff.
Not a lot, and here's the thing, and this is something that I have with my own team. If no changes are being made, you should be getting communicated to on why changes aren't being made. And that shouldn't be something like new to you. So that's something to look out for, because there are times where, you don't need to make changes every single day. But, if
no changes are good changes.
Yes.
A lot of the times you don't always have to touch Google, but as long as the guys can justify it and prove it to you, then don't want to over change as well. So, but if someone says something like, oh, we're doing this, then make sure they're actually doing it. And you're like, you don't feel like they're doing it, because sometimes that happens. Then you can go and check and see if they're actually doing what they're saying.
Like zero changes in 30 days is pretty crazy.
Yes.
Like that's a pretty big red flag. Like they should be at least changing some search terms. I'm sure they can do some adjustments to the bids. And then, there's some other like micro adjustments that could be made. So again, it's a red flag.
But again, it depends account to account. It varies significantly. Next one, search terms. You want to take this one?
Search terms. All right. So search terms, this is the way that we like to do things. We talked about this in our audit video.
Yeah.
I might kind of share a little bit about that. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch that video. Like, subscribe, comment, e-transfer me $800,000, whatever you'd like to do.
Yes.
But search term reports. Now, search term reports are now available to most campaigns. Anything I think that serves on the search network. You used to not be able to get it to PMAX, but now you can. At its core, you could just pull it right from your main campaign here. I would exercise caution though, because if you do it from the top here, you might pull in brand. And so what we're going to talk about, it might seem like, okay, maybe
we're going to get to the brand, non-brand stuff too.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would just pick, you should, hopefully the person you're working with is telling you what's going on. Look for like a cold non-brand campaign. Let's say we pick, I've got a performance max, no index campaign here. If you know me, you know I love my flow boost. So I've gone in here, asset groups. What you go into is, it used to be in there, but they've changed it. Actually a long time ago. You go into insights and reports, search terms, start with 30 days, and organize by cost. Some people like to organize by clicks, cost, doesn't matter, one or the other. What you want to do, the very first thing when you're going in here, if this is truly a cold campaign, you should not be seeing any brand in here. Because if you're seeing brand in here and it's claiming to be a cold campaign or a non-brand campaign, that means, that ROAS that you're seeing is just retargeting, and you're spending money that should be going to your cold customers that would have much better, like, stretch out your bottom line. But instead, you're just retargeting, and, you're likely indexing too high on people who are already going to convert anyways.
I'm just going to build on that. One of the biggest takeaways from, one of the biggest things, if you should take away from this video, is trying to understand how much money is being spent between generalized cold search terms and how much money is being spent by brand. Because a lot of times you go into accounts and you'll be sold on like a 5x or a 3x or a 12x, but a lot significantly higher than what your set target is, and you're like really impressed by it. But realistically, what people or businesses or agencies or individuals end up doing is that they'll spend more money on brand to mitigate that thing, because your brand obviously is going to convert significantly higher than the rest. And as a result of that, it'll inflate the ROAS number. So you kind of want to separate the brand and the non-brand when you're looking at it, and you want to separate the spends for it. Like, are you spending like half your budget on brand when you should?
Yeah, and you should only be spending like a small portion of it. And for example, here, you can see like I have a standard shopping bottom of funnel. This is a branded shopping campaign that's $30 a day, and then there's a brand campaign that's $25 a day. You can see my other campaigns. There's 70, 100, 140. My cold campaigns are getting significantly more budget because we need to generate new customers.
Yeah. So like the easiest way, Colby, I'm going to just direct you real quick. We're just going to go into like insights and search terms. Insights report, search terms.
Yeah. Caveat being here, though, we're doing it from the overall level here at this point. So, I mean, we're going to like not show it out, but this is just for me to say to Sama, my brand showing here. So
yeah. No, that's what I'm going for. So go into like search terms.
Yeah, search terms. So we scroll down, we see search terms here.
On the left.
Oh, I'm in insights. Sorry, I was looking like the PMAX way through insights.
Yeah. And then what I usually do, or what we usually like to do, is I'll literally go to like add a filter search term, and then I'll add like the brand term there and do does not contain, and see how much money is being spent on it. So like you can do contains.
And say it's like my client here. Oh, can you go under one? Yeah. And then I can go like this. You hopefully won't be able to see this. Does not contain, right? And so we're going to see the proportion of budget that goes
like, there's like 5,800 spent there.
Yeah, compared to, if we go to the bottom, 6,000. So we see that the majority of our budget is going towards cold terms rather than
what we want to see.
Yeah.
Which is what we want to see. Now, if this was the other way around, where the majority of the budget was towards that, let's just say even if it was like 3,000 of the 6,000, it's probably not a good sign unless you asked for that. That's not helping.
Yeah, and I think a thing that a lot of that doesn't get realized is, cold customers, it's not like you're going to have this extraordinary cold customer campaign with the 9x. Cold customers don't convert as well as returning customers. So that's something you need to bear in mind. You know, and when you're kind of restarting things, say you are really stuck on warm and repeat customers and you're coming off a build where it's completely dependent on repeat traffic, the new customer campaigns, their ROASs aren't going to look as good. No. But overall, you watch like your efficiency ratio or blended MER, and you'll see this.
We have a video on LTV. Go watch that.
Yeah. Like that's the stuff that matters.
Okay, so now going back into the search terms again, CPA, go look for wasted spend in there. Is there like, are you selling green hammocks? And is someone are we getting clicks for a black chair?
Or banana hammocks?
Or banana hammocks?
What is it?
We used to sell hammocks. Remember the hammocks client? That was a fun one.
I just have to Google this. I feel like it's like a term from a snowboarding company, but I'm like, is that some sexual innuendo by accident? I think it is. Yeah, it's like a Speedo.
Yeah, we don't need to know that.
But, you know, you're selling hammocks, but you're getting you're getting thousands of dollars towards these banana hammocks because your advertiser is just bidding on hammocks. That's irrelevant spend, and that budget is not going to draw in any conversions compared to if that was going to the proper user, the proper search terms. You're much more likely to convert a user looking for the proper terms. So
one-off random clicks are usually fine. It's great. I feel like I cut Colby off because I heard.
No, it's good. It's good. All I do is talk. You go.
Yeah, the one-off random clicks are fine, but the easiest way to probably go about it is either sort by cost or sort by clicks, and just start going through the list to see if you see a pattern in there for like wasted terminology that's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense for my business, blah blah blah. You know, the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. Actually, this is more of an audit one, so we're gonna ignore this one. This isn't a red flag thing, it's honestly, but I essentially like to look for patterns in my search terms and do negatives according to that. But that's in the audit video. We don't really need to cover this. This is a good one. Network settings, search partners.
Oh yeah.
This is an interesting one actually. So I've had a few cases. I'm gonna lead with this one.
You talk, I'll show.
Where the search partners are just like random websites that Google is integrated in, and they can show up there. What's interesting about these is sometimes they'll lead to a lot of leads, but all those leads are always about 80 to 90% of the time are always garbage. So I'll have like scenarios where clients will come, or I've had to audit accounts on our team in the agency days where all of a sudden the amount of leads was going up, but the quality of the lead kept falling off. And the constant pattern between when the leads fell off and when the amount of leads started increasing and the lead quality fell off was literally when it started spending more on the search network. And just because you have the search network on doesn't mean it's going to start spending on it. It might not spend on it, but it's good to turn it off. Colby,
it took me so long to get there. Like if you were following that, yeah, kind of a journey. But yeah, you have your search network,
just have network. Both of them off, honestly.
I've never seen a positive case where this is done well. Funny enough, though, on Bing, I have seen a positive case, but
for some reason it turns on.
But yeah, don't mess with this. There's no good reason.
While you have that open, show them the location settings and which.
Oh yeah, this is a big one too. To be honest, when you get your run-of-the-mill, yeah, you'll get, if you're like getting a run-of-the-mill agency, I feel like they're gonna detect these because these are pretty common. You're gonna look for your location settings. If you have internet in Canada and have to choose between one of the 3 companies, you're just kind of stuck with this internet. You're gonna take some time to load. Anyways, location options. Presence, people in or regularly in. This is what you want, but there's also presence or interest. And so that could include people that aren't actually in your location.
Or in your country in this case. It could just be people interested in the United States.
Yeah.
You know where I think that would work really well? I only remember this because I was auditing a touring company. So like if someone's like, let's just start, say you're touring the Alps. I don't even say like the mountain ranges in Calgary.
Yeah.
Banff. And you're trying
people would know the Alps better, but
yeah, the Alps or whatever.
Or Banff, Alberta, Canada.
Banff, Alberta, Canada. you can set that. I guess I actually haven't tested. I just thought that occurred to me. It might make sense to use people interested in that for that, because then anybody around the world trying to tour it will see the ad.
Yeah, people searching for BAMF. I think that's a good point. I haven't, you know what? I haven't run anything like that either. Actually, I have a white label for a client, and they do stuff in BAMF, and now I want to see what they're doing. But I can't tell any of you because I would violate an agreement.
Exactly, top secret. But no,
Yeah.
always if you're like in a specific area, you can't sell out of it. You're in that zone, have that setting on. Next one, this is a really basic one. Auto apply. Make sure you have all of them off. Don't have them on. The next one is probably one of my favorite ones that I always catch is conversions.
Yeah.
So conversions is an interesting one because the amount of times we've come across accounts that are optimizing towards page views, add to carts, initiate checkouts, and purchases, and everything under the sun combined, right? You don't need that. You optimize towards the conversion action you actually need. You don't optimize towards like 3 different conversion actions. You can. That's a different strategy, which we should probably post about that one. But that's way more complicated.
Yeah, no, we don't need. I'd say most cases, like you don't need to, and it's like, for the love of God, get your conversion sorted out. Because the most common thing I see is when I go into accounts, you'll go and you'll look at a campaign, and then you'll go and say, okay, well, what are they optimized towards? And then
it'll be like 4 things.
It'll be account default, and it'll be everything. And then
Yeah.
you'll have someone who, like Osama said, is targeting like every single thing under the sun, and things aren't set up as secondary conversions. Now, I don't know how to. Here, I'm going to do it this way because I don't know how to do it the new way. But yeah, you'd want to make sure that anything that isn't
irrelevant.
Yeah, anything that's relevant, or like in my case, I'm just using purchases. So under my purchases, the one I don't want to use, so my GA4, that's a secondary, where like my JavaScript checkout is active primary. But yeah, there's accounts here where you'll just see all of these are primary, and then yeah, and then they're using account default, and then you'll look and they have like 10,000 conversions, and it's like your data is completely screwed. You need to just restart.
I know it said primary for Colby, but he has it set on a campaign specific level, which is why it's unique to it that it doesn't bother.
Yeah. I don't make mistakes.
The other one you want to be careful about is I don't make mistakes.
Just a flashback of every mistake I've ever made.
The other one, Colby, show the one versus every real quick. So the one versus
yes.
One versus every is really important because sometimes it depends on how the conversion action is set up. Because sometimes they're set up to like trigger when people land on a page. Sometimes they're set up to trigger when they complete a certain event. Sometimes it's like a call and you'll track every call, which is why you want to be specific or cautious about the one versus every. For example, if your conversion action is set up to every time someone lands on a thank you page, if someone refreshes the page or just opens and closes the tab like 3 times, that's 3 conversions. You don't want that, right?
Yeah.
So you want
this is a purchase. You want to track every purchase.
Yeah.
But like Osama was saying.
Yeah. So like, but like a phone call, someone might call you like 3 times in the same day from the same phone number. You don't want to count that 3 times. A purchase is also dependent on like what business model you're running, right? If you're trying to get people,
and it says here too.
Yeah, more new customers in like a certain window, then it's fine. Like I personally do like 1 conversion over 30, 60, or 90 day, depending on the customer. So I don't count them multiple times. But you can also do every conversion there. It just, again, it's very dependent on the business model. Make sure you understand those.
As long as it's done with like intention. And how do we tie it back to our concept of just checking in on what you have set up there, and then, you know, making sure that your team has a justification. And, you know, I think for a client relationship, to be honest, when you're in this stage where you're kind of questioning every one of their moves and pushing against something like, what are you doing? It's usually a sign that it's not going to last anyways.
Yeah.
But here's that ammunition. Maybe you need to talk to like management or a higher power.
Sure. With lead gen, I think I wrote this in a bad way, or GPT wrote this in a bad way. Also, these are all original thoughts. GPT just keeps us organized. God bless GPT. Lead gen is interesting with their conversions because lead gen can be a form fill, a phone call, and whatnot. So it can be a spew of like very bad leads, and you'll start optimizing towards bad leads. So like Like if you're running PMAX, it'll start optimizing towards bots for some reason every single time, right? So don't run PMAX for lead gen. There's special cases you can talk about them later. We don't. This video isn't about that. But for lead gen, ideally you want to set a semi-qualified to a qualified lead as your conversion action, whatever drives you to like 30 conversions, right?
Yeah, the furthest you can go down the funnel to get close to 30 conversions.
Yes. See, I love that rule. The furthest you can go down the funnel to get 30 conversions to hit your threshold, that's how far into the funnel you want to be with your conversion action. Again, as optimized or as accurate of a conversion action you can. For example, my calls, I have a local service client, and my call from ad, the extension, the length of those calls is 150 seconds. Usually people go 60 seconds, but I realized I was getting too much spam calls. I increased it to 120. It got better, and then 115, and it's just great, the lead quality coming in from it, right? So you have to play around with it a bit. This is a good one. YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one.
Good.
One of the biggest ways for people increase their spend, especially on those percentage of ad spend retainers, is they start spending. You're pulling it up? Yeah, perfect. They start spending on YouTube. Like YouTube is doing great. Don't get me wrong, YouTube does do great, but if you do it right.
Yeah, hold on. I need a campaign that has.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I ran demand gen a long ass time ago. In
While you find that, I'll explain. There's two types of conversion events that come in: a click-based and an engaged view. Click-based is someone that actually clicked the ad and converted. An engaged view is someone that saw an ad and then went to the website or came through and converted without it. Now, engaged view are usually very bottom of funnel. Like the vast majority of the time, they're like middle or bottom of funnel. They've seen your Facebook ads, they've seen your search ads, and Google is repeatedly targeting them, and eventually they convert. Click-based is more trackable. Like they actually click the ad and you can see how it performs. Also, you can't really track how well an ad performs from an engaged view perspective. So when you're looking at the ad, if you segment, like Colby has it segmented right now. I can't see Colby's screen.
Yeah. Oh, am I not sharing it?
Oh, you are. I just wasn't on the screen. Did you find one?
Yeah, so when conversions, ad event type, you click on that, and then you'd go to your campaign here. And then here you go.
Yeah, so like if you have these conversions, like you can see there's a good split between a 50-50 split between the two, like more leaning towards the click it. That's a good split. But if you're like 70-80 or 70-80, yeah, 70-80 towards like engaged view, 70-80 towards clicks is great, by the way. 70-80 towards engaged view, and you're running like 20-30 towards like click-based conversions, I'd be iffy about that.
Yeah, you want to see more clicks. And even in my instance too, like this isn't perfect. There's a reason the campaign's turned off. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting more click-based attribution, that means people are seeing the video, they're clicking and like making the conversion at that point. Where if it's engaged views, who's not to say that the video didn't just kind of like idly show while they're watching something on YouTube, and maybe Facebook actually engaged them or something.
Yep. Let me see what else we got. The rest are mostly 80-20. Let me just unhighlight the rest and see if there's anything here.
Yeah, if you made it this long,
we'll run through this. Oh, we already talked about budget distribution, funnel walkthrough, again, audit stuff, billing, nothing's running. Yeah, I think that's about
billing? It. Compare.
Oh, billing is important. Actually, this is important because, oh my God, make sure you have your own billing on the client. Do not send money to people to pay the bills for your Google ads because they just spend it elsewhere and then they charge you more money. So make sure your credit cards, your bank that are attached to the account, so you're paying it and you're not overpaying. Because I've seen some horror stories.
And I mean, as like a a business owner, I personally want the client, or I guess as a ad guy, I want the client to spend the money. I don't want to spend those dollars anyways. So
I'd rather the client have all their stuff. So I think the biggest one, okay, let me ask you this first, just to end the video. What's the biggest one you can say from like, okay, this is a probably biggest red flag run, like 2 or 3 where you're like, these are important.
Top things, I think, in you and I auditing like high level accounts, is the warm versus cold traffic. The most common issue I see. PMAX is grabbing warm traffic. Your ROAS looks spectacular, but then you're wondering why your business can't grow and scale. And it's because you can't scale your bottom of funnel. Unless you scale your top of funnel. But that's a big piece there. What's that?
Account ownership.
Yeah, account ownership's huge. That's a crazy one. Like,
it's ridiculous to me how many accounts we've come across where they don't own it.
Yeah, because then like even with that model too, someone quits, you can't get access to the account. It's like the worst thing in the world, and it always happens.
Tracking, I think tracking is important. Make sure you're not double, triple cracking.
Yeah, the tracking part, and then just making sure conversions are like in touch with reality. And then the secondaries versus primary, make sure they're not optimizing towards everything.
Yes, I agree.
And then there's also, I think, the fourth thing, and this is very common by clients, and sometimes it's very funny because sometimes it hasn't happened to me since I was a little bit more new in my career. But when they start pulling up, like a client might pull up the what are those reports called again? The activity logs, like when you like the history change. So like I do think that's worth looking at. I think if you're paying someone, you should have an understanding of if they are making changes or if they're not making changes and why.
Sometimes, and I will emphasize that sometimes you have to make changes. Sometimes you have to sit tight and not make changes. But you need to understand why they're not making changes as well. Like there's different cases. Honestly, we could run through that in a different video too for everybody.
Yeah, there's so many videos we can make.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll see if this is going to be a high production video or very, very low production video.
Probably very low. Nobody likes seeing our faces.
Speak for yourself, man.
Cody's like, I got hair now.
Yeah. All right. We did it.
Thank you. We did the thing.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
So this video is going to be two-tiered, one for clients and one for actually business owners, and once if you have clients, right? So the way this call is going to be is like, how do you determine what KPIs you want to give to your agency based off your targets? And then from a business side,